Hello, my awesome pre-algebra students. Let's talk about solving equations using addition or subtraction. And I want to say thank you for watching these movies on YouTube. We're almost up to 1,800 views. That's awesome. Okay, take a look at our goal. We're going to solve equations using addition or subtraction. Now, important vocabulary. Look at inverse operations. In algebra, whenever you see that word inverse, something is getting destroyed, okay? So remember, if I see addition, I destroy it with subtraction. Or if I see subtraction, I can destroy it with addition, all right? So they are inverse operations. Now, equivalent equations, I think the best way to show you is just to show you how we're going to go about solving these. The first thing I'd do is write out the equation. So let's say I had x plus 3 equals 5. I would write that on my paper. Then with your red pen, I want you to circle the x. That's called isolating the variable. That's what we're looking for. And I want you to draw a red bar underneath the equal sign. And then just take a look at what's touching the circle. See how adding 3 is touching the circle? I just think, well, what's the inverse of that? How could I destroy adding 3? I would do the opposite. I would subtract 3. And so whatever I do on the left-hand side of the equal sign, I have to copy on the right-hand side of the equal sign. And then just simplify going straight down. See how the x had this bubble around it? It was protected. Just let it float straight down and write the x here. Now, a positive 3 plus a negative 3 would be 0. And so sometimes my students just cross that out. And then copy the equal sign straight down the wall. Let it slide down the wall like a fireman slides down the pole. And then 5 minus 3 is 2. So always, always, always show your work on both sides of the equal sign. Otherwise, I'm not going to give you credit for doing these. Okay, take a look at an algebra equation with no numbers at all. If I had x plus a equals b, I would circle the variable and bring down my wall. I take a look at what's touching the circle. Adding a is touching the circle. So I do the inverse. I subtract a on both sides of my wall. And now I bring down what I have left. I bring down the x, and then a positive a plus a negative a destroys each other. I let the equal sign slide down the wall here, and then I just copy what I have, the b minus a, and I box my answer. Okay, let's look at example 1, solving an equation using subtraction. So they want us to solve this equation. So copy it exactly like you see it. X plus 5 equals negative 2. And now circle your x, your variable, and bring down that wall underneath the equal sign. And notice what's touching the circle, adding 5. So I do the inverse. I subtract 5 on both sides of the equal sign. And then I simplify. I let the x slide down here, so the x is here. I let the equal sign slide down here. But notice what's happening. I added a line and changed the sign. So to show you that positive 5 plus negative 5 is 0. It destroys each other. And then on the other side, negative 2 minus 5, I added a line and changed the sign. That's negative 2 plus negative 5. That gave me negative 7. So x equals negative 7. Here's the deal. One-step equations use one inverse operation to solve. I have to see you using the inverse operation. I have to see you showing the work on both sides of the equal sign. Otherwise, I cannot give you credit when you're solving these equations. Okay, so let's talk about how to use the addition property of equality. That just means we're going to use addition to solve these equations. So take a look at this first equation and notice how it has no numbers at all. I don't want you to get so hung up with the numbers. Look at the algebra. So we have x minus a equals b. Copy the equation just like they gave it to you. Circle the x, the variable you're solving for, and bring down that wall underneath the equal sign. And now look at what's touching the circle, minus a. So I want to do the inverse. What's the inverse of subtracting a? To add a. So I'm going to add a on both sides of my wall. And then I simplify. I let the x slide down here, and then a negative a plus a positive a destroys each other. I let the equal sign slide down here, and then I just add the variables, b plus a, and that's what it equals. So x equals b plus a, and I box my answer. Take a look at example 2, solving an equation using addition. Okay, this is what they want us to solve. 12 minus y I'm sorry, 12 equals y minus 7. So I copied it exactly like they gave it to us. I circled the variable. We're solving for y. I bring the wall down underneath the equal sign. And now look at what's touching the circle. See how minus 7 is touching the circle? That's what we want to destroy. So the inverse of subtracting 7 is to add 7. Once I write adding 7 on one side of the equal sign, I have to copy it over here on the other side of the equal sign. And then I simplify. 12 plus 7 gives me 19. I let the equal sign slide down the pole right there, and then I let the y slide down, and of course negative 7 plus a positive 7 destroyed each other. They're gone. So y equals 19. Okay, look at the checkpoint. Solve the equation. Now, the book says to check your solutions. Here's the deal. You do not have to check every solution as long as you show every step. If you don't show every step, I'm going to make you check every solution. So please show your work. Okay, take a look at number 1. X plus 6 equals 19. I copied it first. Then circle the variable, the x, and bring that wall down underneath the equal sign. Look at what's touching the circle, adding 6. So the inverse of adding 6 is subtracting 6. So once I did subtracting 6 on one side of the wall, I have to copy it on the other side of the wall. And then I just simplify. I let the x just slide straight down. A positive 6 plus a negative 6 is 0. They destroy each other. They're gone. The equal sign slides straight down the pole here, and then 19 minus 6 gives me 13. So my solution is x equals 13, and I box my answer. Take a look at number 2. Negative 5 equals y plus 12. So I copied it exactly like I saw it. I circled the y, that's what I'm solving for, and I bring down the wall underneath the equal sign. Now look at what's touching the circle, adding 12. So I do the inverse. I subtract 12 on both sides of the wall, or both sides of the equal sign. And then I simplify. Now notice I had negative 5 minus 12. So I added a line and changed the sign. So that's negative 5 plus negative 12 gives me negative 17. I let the equal sign slide down here, and then I let the y slide down, and now positive 12 plus negative 12 destroy each other. They're gone. And I box my answer. Take a look at number 3. M minus 3 equals negative 11. So I copied the equation exactly like they gave it to me. I circled my variable. I brought down the wall. And notice I did something else. See that minus 3? I'm going to add a line and change the sign. So that becomes plus negative 3. So again, take a look at what's touching the circle. Adding a negative 3 is touching the circle. So I think, what could I add to a negative 3 to destroy it? I could add a positive 3. So once I know that, I add a positive 3 on both sides of the equal sign, and then I simplify. I let the m slide down. A negative 3 plus a positive 3 destroys each other. They're gone. I let the equal sign go straight down the pole here. It's right here. And then negative 11 plus positive 3 would give me negative 8. And I box my answer. You have to show your work to get full credit.